Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. If you're new to the channel, I'm so pleased you're here. And if you're returning, welcome back. The message I heard before sitting down for this reading is that it's more about consistency than it is about perfection. I've got my fairy cards here, and I want to see what card comes out first. We have Future, which is interesting because I just posted a video, a very short one, maybe about 3 minutes. It's about a vision that is manifesting and asking you to release this resilience that you've been holding on to and let it transition into care. And when I placed this card, what I had in mind was the past. I was going to pull 3 cards, past, present, and future. And to see future coming in first really speaks to, this vision and looking into the future, planning. Pull a second card. I have steps. And so that's you in the present taking steps, finding it healing, staying grounded. Look at how her hands are, on this, I suppose, lotus leaf. And that really came through in that message, this idea of it didn't come through as steps, but taking care, doing your part, taking action, and not mistaking the silence, the absence of fire, as something going wrong, but rather accepting it as things really transforming into reality. There were a lot of pentacles and a lot of water moving away from a lot of fire. And so that is that feeling of sitting by a riverbed and watching the river going, rather than thinking that anything's wrong, that there's anywhere else you need to be. And this is more about taking steps and remaining peaceful. I find it interesting that this card says steps when what I'm actually getting from the card in terms of her sitting on this petal is the idea of drifting. I'm not sure yet what the contrast is saying in that message. So let's pull a card for the future. You see this future card says knowledge. And so you are moving more into the knowing that you're in the right place and that you are taking steps, not drifting. I'm laying out cards here representing past, present, and future. And so I have the High Priestess, the Tower, and choices, the 7 of Cups coming in your past, which is amazing because what it's telling me like this is that you realized that you could manifest a reality early on. You were aware of this. It did shake you up at first. There was also a tension between, am I fooling myself or can I really do this? But it seems like there was a series of visions that you had, that you experienced, that felt so real and led you to exploring. This is really interesting because what I'm seeing is that you've already seen some of your visions materialize, but all the while throughout, there are particular aspects of your dreams and your visions that you haven't been certain would also come true. And so that's actually also what's playing out here in terms of transitioning into knowledge is that, there's so much unseen. And out of your visions, certain parts of them have transpired, have come to pass, but there was still doubt regarding these other ones that were like, a dream come true. You see, we've got the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups here. This aspect of a dream, a real dream coming true. And so you were afraid to believe wholeheartedly in that aspect. So you believed, okay? You believed, but not fully. There was still an aspect of doubt. And what I'm seeing in the center here, the Three of Wands, is showing me between the Ten of Cups and the Moon. These are showing me that your vision is on its way in a material form. I mean, in a form that you can touch, see, and feel. Okay? And this last row is very interesting. It says perseverance. And we spoke about resilience and hanging on to your resilience. And so I see this releasing. But with the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, you see, I've had to blur out this card because she's naked. But these cards together tell me about labor. That feeling of pushing through, knowing what is coming now. Okay, so now moving into knowing and watching it form in reality. And the thing is that this Eight of Swords is usually this card of a self-imposed prison where your mind is looping around the same thought and you're sort of stuck in your head. But because I know this row is regarding materialization, and especially with the Queen of Pentacles showed like this is telling me about almost more of a consistency that is being applied to something that is materializing. And so this is moving from air again to earth. Okay, to a lot of earth. So this is turning thoughts into earth. And so rather than it being looping thoughts, it's rather the infinity of the eight than it is the stuckness of the Eight of Swords, and you persevering and watching, you're giving birth. You're giving birth to your manifestation. I'm receiving this vision of you riding a bike, okay? It's as if you sometimes experience this feeling of not being sure whether you still know how to ride a bike. And there you are riding your bike, and you're even looking to the left, looking to the right, into the fields. It's a very pleasant experience. You're on your way. You're not sure where you're headed, but you know you can get there, and you're just cycling along so pleasantly. And you're almost even forgetting that you were unsure whether you could still do this, but there you are doing it. I'm shuffling some cards now for what you need to know. I've got environment with a seed. I've got self-esteem in reverse. And I've got charm. This acorn that the first environment card that she's sitting with is telling me, obviously it's speaking to your environment, but what's happening is that your self-esteem in reverse, what it's doing, your visible confidence is really charming your environment, the people around you, the people observing you. It's charming them. It's reminding them about magic. It's reminding them what they're capable of. Okay, that planting a seed has a result. And so in a sense, your transformation, okay, how you've worked through your self-esteem is really influencing those you touch, those that encounter you. Underneath the deck, I see the communication card. So this is something that you're communicating to your environment. And I'm not referring to communication in terms of speaking. I'm referring to a way of being that you're transferring by showing visibly to your environment what you're doing, a lot of how you're doing it, okay? And so this is what you're communicating. You're communicating a message to your environment of what is possible. And not just that, do you see this card and how there's so many naked people in these cards lately, really, you know? But look how the two fairies are sitting. The one is on the ground watching, okay? That's your environment. That is who is being communicated to. And then there's the fairy in the tree, looking at the other fairy, speaking to the other fairy. You got butterflies flying around. This fairy is almost saying to the other fairy, look at what I'm doing. I'm sitting on a leaf. Okay? I'm sitting on a leaf. You can too. I have the Lovers, which is about choices. More naked people. I'm going to blur a lot of these out. You are communicating the power of choice to your environment and the beauty that can be created out of it in material form, but also out of oneself, the transformation that is possible. I have the Queen of Pentacles again. I shuffled all the cards back into the deck, and that's you. That's you in front of your environment, visibly pregnant, and they're going to get to see you give birth. And so now they've seen the whole process. They've seen the whole process. You're inspiring them. I've got the King of Swords underneath the charm card. This is about getting to the truth of the matter. This is a lot of the time when we talk about manifestation, it's done as an idea. Okay, it's conveyed as an idea. It's very flighty. It's high risk. There are all these things, but you are visible evidence of the truth about manifestation. Okay, the action that needs to be taken, the choices that need to be made, and you're also making it very hard to. You're making it very difficult to almost evade the truth about how these things are done. And look, Valor, 7 of Wands. This is also about the courage, working through the struggle, that it's possible. There's also something else coming through here on the 7 of Wands around how the challenge and the struggle and the need to draw from courage is not avoidable, but that it's worth it. Okay, so sometimes we want things to come to us, land right in front of us. This is not that it is untrue, but truth needs to play a huge part here. Truth needs to play a huge part. And a lot of this brings up matters of personal value, Queen of Pentacles, and choice, the Lovers. And so there are aspects like how a person connects with their sense of personal value, the choices that they make, and how they interact with the truth of the matter. That these aspects and getting down to, aligning values with intention and action and behavior, that these things cannot be avoided, and that's really the truth of the matter. And your courage to actually do this in front of others also says a lot about the path. This last row here is really reinforcing this idea of the truth shall set you free. There are so many swords in this reading. I've got Page of Swords, Justice, there's a sword there. The 4 of Swords, which is the card of not battling, not fighting against, okay? Releasing resistance to truth, to allow the truth to land. Page of Swords is around figuring things out, exploring, getting to the bottom of something. And so this is really confronting the idea of you may not always know what you need to do, what choice you need to make, but it's about being willing to explore it, okay? And things balancing out, that's justice, things coming right. The sword has gone from Page of Swords up in the air, sort of pointing upwards into the air, into the ground, okay, to a point, and not fighting it and releasing resistance from, fighting against the truth again, and being well on your way because of it, And the sevens, the Seven of Wands and the Chariot together speak about things coming together in divine timing. Okay. And so this is also a lot about trust. But what you're doing is that you're providing evidence so that others that observe you do not need to start from scratch as far as trusting, because the evidence takes them so much further. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's that evidence makes it easier to trust that it's safe to trust. I've just been contemplating what else do they want you to know, and what's coming through is the reason we're actually doing this reading, the reason this message is coming through to you, is for you to recognize this important aspect of what you're doing. I have 16, 16, 6, 9. The importance of what you're doing. You are changing people's perspectives on manifestation, okay? In terms of how it's done, in a different way to, I'm talking about organic manifestation, which is this idea that you start with a vision and you're transforming yourself, and through your own personal transformation, you're able to transform your environment. And so you becoming the creator, okay? Rather than this idea of manifestation where we just wait for things to land on our lap. We need to work on ourselves because we are the creator. We are the body that is birthing. Okay, so you're shifting perspectives. That 1616 is like a tower. So, and the 6-9 is the materialization from a point of balance. And so what they want you to understand is that you're being watched. You're being watched. And this is not to say now play to the gallery. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is please add this to your bouquet of reasons you do the things you do. Okay? Because this is a valuable aspect of your work. It's a valuable aspect of your showing up. Okay? Because you're sharing a lot of visible evidence of what hope, faith, trust, okay, and personal development can create. And so I'm not saying you're being watched in a negative way. You've got a lot of positive energy that's actually coming at you. I see it. I just saw a whole lot of arrows headed your way. Okay. So you're actually being backed by all that positive energy. And so ride it, because that energy in itself is valuable. Wow. You're attracting positive energy from around you, from your environment, from what you've already put in. And so please use this as a propellant for yourself and continue to show up for yourself. And so you're just continuing to show up for yourself, but I'm saying this is having a much bigger effect than you have been perceiving thus far. I think that this has been in your blind spot. This is not an aspect of your work that you've been aware of fully. It's important. It's important. And in a certain way, it's actually a free aspect. It's an aspect of your work that is bearing fruit for you, that is, I'm saying it doesn't require effort. It doesn't require anything additional. It's actually a propellant. So they want you to be aware of this aspect of energy you're receiving because of what you've already done. That's a beautiful message. Thank you so much for being with me for this reading and sharing your energy. I'm going to close this here. I also want to share a special welcome to my channel members who've been joining. I really appreciate your support. And also anyone new to the channel, sending you all so much love. I've left further details in the description box below on personal readings and other ways to support the channel. Love to you. Bye.